After the tragedy in Uvalde, Texas, school districts all across the country, including here in central Indiana, started to reassess their security systems. Many schools here in our area began modifying and upgrading their security, including Jay County. That's where the school district actually began making major security changes to their school over 4 years ago.
Just entering a school in Jay County,
we want to see you and hear you before you even get in,
is dramatically different than 4 years ago. From background checks to bolted doors to ballistic windows.
You're not going to shoot through that glass.
Superintendent and retired Indiana National Guardsman Jeremy Gully has made it his mission to defend against danger in his district.
We move the needle. Prevention, hardening, and arming, everything we've talked about, we've moved it.
It's that last part that grabbed attention when we first visited in 2018. In a rural community, response time can be a second enemy in a school shooting. So Jay County backed a bold step, a first for Indiana. In each building, there is a hidden handgun. Locked in a biometric safe, it is a weapon at the ready for a secret team of teachers and staff trained to pull the trigger as a last line of defense.
If all these layers fail, we believe that someone in that school has to confront the shooter with armed force.
Have any of those safes been accessed in the last 3.5 years?
As far as access to the safe for an active shooter, no. As far as accessing the firearm for concealed carry when a school is under a threatening condition, like we've experienced when schools get threats, we will authorize individuals that are non-teachers to put themselves in a concealed carry posture so that weapon is on the hip and ready to use.
Arming school employees isn't the only change. The high school now has random metal detectors. The district got a school resource officer and this metal detector, 1-year-old Jack.
Rounds of light ammunition. He detects black powder and smokeless powder. It also helps bridge with kids that may not feel comfortable talking to me. They feel comfortable talking to him.
Some of the solutions are low-tech.
In classrooms, students now know this area is protected in an emergency, and they practice it.
That's a hidden corner of every classroom in an active shooter drill. That's where kids are going.
So the point is, if a gunman does get in, they can't see the kids. Their line of vision literally cut off, and the students stay safe.
Meanwhile, first responders see more. The district doubled surveillance cameras, reconfigured room signs, and color-coded hallways to better direct police responding to a threat.
So not only can first responders see those panels, but our cameras are tied in now to our 911 dispatch center.
But the most effective part of their safety plan? The Sandy Hook Promise app to report threats anonymously.
It's worked. We've had over 500 tips since we put that in.
Tips not just about school threats, but also fights, drugs, bullying, and suicidal students. Gully says it saved lives.
It's been the biggest surprise because it's worked every time. People are talking to us now.
Over the last 4 years, Gully's been talking with other superintendents about what works, what to try. And he's also connected with parents who've lost children in school shootings.
He gets it. This is all he thinks about 24/7, and that's what you want.
Including Max Schachter, whose son Alex was killed in Parkland, Florida. His nonprofit aims to make schools safer.
We miss Alex every day. I made it my mission to do everything I could to prevent this from happening again. And every superintendent and every principal has to prioritize this issue. In Parkland, we had that mindset that it's not going to happen here.
Much of what you see in Jay County now came after studying what failed in Parkland. Their security team is meeting again after the tragedy in Uvalde, learning lessons, evolving strategies, including this latest purchase.
That's the next horizon.
A $150,000 alert system just approved by the school board. The badge with a button can signal an emergency in seconds. No scrambling for phones or struggling with Wi-Fi. Every teacher will wear one.
You see something that doesn't look right, feel right, just press the card so that the rest of the building can initiate their lockdown. You said time is an enemy. I remember you saying that. That's exactly what we're trying to fight back against, is the time that elapses.
Reducing risk in a district that believes layered security, from weapons to warnings, is keeping kids safe. When kids go back to class in Center Grove,
each of the schools has a screen here.
700 cameras.
The hallways, the doorways.
Will be scanning for safety at every single school.
It's eyes in the sky, basically.
Looking for danger with real-time tracking from the district's Emergency Operations Center. And now, if there is a threat, teachers and staff can get help much faster.
That's all I need to do.
With the push of a button on a wearable badge.
It's just like their ID cards. It fits in the same pouch that their ID cards fit in.
Before, we'd have to reach for a radio or cell phone, get somebody else to run for something. You press the button and all of that's coming right now.
Center Grove bought the Centegix Crisis Alert System with help from a school safety grant late last spring. It can activate for medical emergencies, fights in the halls, active shooters. Just watch. If there is an intruder, staff can trigger a lockdown immediately.
Lights, sirens, computers are getting taken over. Voice is telling us where to go.
This is a lockdown alert. Stay out of the hallway and remain quiet.
Code red in classrooms, rapid response in the command center from police.
It pops up on a map, shows us what room it is and what teacher pushed the button.
I'm going to be able to follow him through the hallway, and in the meantime, I'm going to be feeding that information to our officers.
This system is actually used for more than just lockdowns. The instant alerts are color-coded depending on the emergency.
Including severe weather like tornadoes. School leaders say this is a game changer.
It gives us a sense of security. It's like an insurance policy. You just know it's there.
Peace of mind that in a crisis, help is a click away.
With students home for the summer, now construction workers fill East Washington Academy. The school's interior getting a complete makeover. Teachers Courtney Williams and Angela Butler walked through the new classrooms on Friday, already in awe of the changes.
It is so weird to walk through it now because you've seen it, in the old way, and now you're seeing all the renovations, and it's just unbelievable.
The school's previous open concept plan, popular in the 80s, but problematic.
Our walls were partial walls around the building, and then our side wall that went out to the hallway was just simply cabinets that were not up to the ceilings, and you could hear everything going on in the hallways if someone was passing by.
Loud and unsafe, especially if an intruder got in.
Because all I could do was roll an extra cart to kind of make it look like it wasn't an opening, but anyone would just have to simply push with their shoulders and come right into our rooms.
When students and staff come back to class in the fall here at East Washington Academy, all of the classrooms will have doors and walls for the first time in the school's history. It's a big improvement for safety and academics.
In the event of an intruder, which, we have not had here, I think certainly in the event of any sort of issue, we are just being very proactive in ensuring that we can keep our students and staff safe.
Seeing these improvements already, making Williams and Butler feel more comfortable in the classroom.
I mean, that's the number one concern of teachers is safety. We were safe, but it's going to be a whole new level of safety where we can actually shut the doors and lock the doors, and we can really protect the students, and that's our number one goal.
With school safety on top of everyone's minds, these teachers are feeling ready for the start of school. Excited to focus solely on the kids and what they're teaching, knowing classroom safety is well taken care of.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott is under pressure to do something after the tragedy in Uvalde. So he sent this letter to the director of the Texas School Safety Center. It orders in-person, unannounced random intruder detection audits at schools, instructing the state agency to approach campuses to find weak points and how quickly they can penetrate buildings without being stopped. The plan essentially calls for surprise inspections at schools to see if a stranger can breach school security. What does Indiana's governor think about this idea? We contacted Governor Holcomb's office a week ago. Still, no comment. But others are speaking out on the idea of unannounced school security checks, and they have strong opinions.
Following the tragedy in Uvalde, school officials and law enforcement here in Indiana are concerned because they say this is not the last time an armed intruder will target a school.
Breaks my heart to say that, but yes, it's going to happen again.
This is one of those things that keeps us up at night.
Dr. Jeff Butts is superintendent of Wayne Township Schools. Doug Carter is superintendent of Indiana State Police. 13 News asked both of them what they think of inspections to test how vulnerable schools are to intruders.
Do you think that's a good idea?
I do. I do think it's a good idea. We should be testing ourselves by doing those kinds of things. It holds a level of accountability.
Security checks are a critical part of making sure that our buildings are safe and that our students are secure inside of them.
That's their motive.
The superintendents say Indiana law already requires every school to have a detailed safety plan, and testing those plans is crucial to help keep students and teachers safe from an attempted attack. But they say the plan in Texas to conduct safety checks that are completely unannounced is misguided and could result in panic, even an armed confrontation.
Seeing somebody unannounced trying to get into a building would certainly alert our resource officers and could result in a situation that could be very dangerous. It could definitely cause a lockdown in the school just by the very nature of somebody going around yanking on doors. I am all for safety checks. I'm all for doing those unannounced as long as they have a school person with them, show up at the school, grab the principal and say, we're going for a walk.
Exactly right. There has to be a single point of contact.
The state police superintendent says even better yet, the lead on inspections should remain with schools.
I think local control is really important, especially when we're talking about something as important as this.
He does not like the plan announced in Texas, where the responsibility for conducting school safety checks now lies with the state.
Who should be doing it?
I think the corporation should be doing it. Otherwise, it becomes this bureaucratic thing. We don't understand the environments that these schools live in. Nobody knows that environment better than the people that actually work there and live there. So I really think that there has to be buy-in at the local level. And if they want our help, all they have to do is ask.
It's important to point out many schools are already doing security checks, some on a daily basis, but those checks are not mandated. The State Department of Education sent 13 News more information about what's happening to keep Indiana schools safe. We've posted that at WTHR.com.